Okay, peace, peace, peace. What's happening, everybody? Peace. Appreciate y'all for jumping on. Oh, who we got in here so far? Numbers a little light, but we'll give everybody a minute to get in here. Peace to your sister Valisa Bennett, aka Auntie. Abjuel. What's happening, God Killer? Peace to you, bro. Book of Al Jahiz. What's happening with you? Appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're gonna do a little processing tonight and picture capturing. But up until let's try to get a few more people a chance to get in. But what I can do is show y'all what I got going on. So let's see what's happening. Peace to you, Kent, aka Kick Dolo. Peace to you, bro. Let's see. All right. All right, right now what I'm doing is I'm shooting what's called the Elephant Trunk Nebula. So we got the first picture about to come through. This here is just one raw pic. We'll get several. But that turned out pretty good there for one picture. Oh yeah, that's nice though. Got some dust in there and all that dust in there amongst the cloud of hydrogen. And this just one 5-minute sub, but when I get enough of them stacked together, it's gonna be pretty good. That's what's up. Yep. So we got who came in? DeMar Milton. Peace to you. Peace to you. What's happening? But yeah, tonight what I want to do is, share with y'all another, I guess you can say, addition to the catalog. Our good sister, good Juju, bad Juju, we're gonna be processing tonight. So I appreciate y'all letting me have y'all for about 30 minutes. It won't take long at all. I promise you it won't take long at all. We're gonna use that simple method in PixInsight that we use all the time, just to get us a picture, you know what I'm saying? So we can get going and, build some confidence or whatever you want to call it. But this is an easy way to just get you a picture to process and, something to look at. So we'll go ahead on and jump into it. Let me go back to sharing. No, we're not gonna share that. We want to get into the processing. So let's go. Here we go. We got our PixInsight loaded. And we'll go into our files. And what I did is I've already actually processed it just to save some time. That's about a 15-minute process to get all the pictures stacked, get my calibration frames going, to come to that one master pic. So let's see what we got here. Okay, this is what's called the linear picture, so we're gonna stretch it. Hey, that ain't bad at all, y'all. It's actually pretty good, and we hadn't even done anything to it yet. But here you see we have the Heart Nebula, which is good Juju, bad Juju. Looks like a heart in the sky. That's pretty dope. And we hadn't even, like I say, hadn't even done anything. Get a nice cloud right there. All this hydrogen, all of this is hydrogen gas with some dark dust clouds, in it as well. Stars look pretty good. Nice round stars. It's pretty dope. And with this, to get this picture, we use the ASCAR FRA 400C. It's a refractor telescope that I've had it for a few months now, but that's a pretty good picture. All right. So what we're gonna do now is, just start to clean it up. Get all this, what looks hazy, we'll get all that cleaned up to get a smoother picture. And something that, like I say, we can, be proud of. So let's go. All right, we'll start. We'll go into our SETI Astro. If y'all remember from the last couple of times, this is one program that I like to use that's within PixInsight, but it also is a standalone program. So what we're going to do first is clean the background up with our automatic dynamic background extraction. And what this does, you don't have to set anything, mess with any of the parameters, because we're not trying to be on the professional level yet. That's later down the line. Right now, we're just trying to get us a picture. So we'll hit execute, and that's going to extract a lot of the background noise and, just clean it up, basically. That's what we'll call it, just cleaning it up. Getting the gradient out, smoothing everything out. So here we go. That looks a little bit better. It's a little more clearer. See, like you look in this area here versus here. See, it's a little more defined. You don't have all that haziness. If you can see what I'm talking about. It's a little more darker over here. See this little area right here versus there. And when you're looking inside in here versus there. So you can actually see how a lot of this, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's background colors or whatever that comes from, light pollution. And I use filters that actually help with blocking out the light pollution. Because my neighbor in the back behind me, they still got their lights on, been on for about a month now, all day and all night. That electric bill ain't gonna be no joke. But you can see how that just running that one little simple step just cleans up your picture. You can look in here towards the center, and blow them both up so you can see. But this is a lot better. You can see how more detail you get versus here, just by cleaning it up a little bit. So that's step one. So we won't need this one anymore. I'll keep that one up for comparisons. Okay, now what we're gonna do is go into our processes, and do what's called blur exterminator. And what this is gonna do is, continue to clean it up, tighten the stars up a little bit, and add a little color to it. So let's drop it on there and see what we come out with. And this here is pretty quick. It doesn't take long at all. While that's going on, I want to say peace to you. My name is Tika. Appreciate you joining in. Juju, you see it there, Miss Juju? You see you on the screen now? Yeah, you got it going on now. All right, we'll see that's ready. So we got our blur exterminator first, and that's one of those things, blur exterminator. You can do it as many times as you feel like you need to. But you can see how it tightened up the stars versus this one. This is the original. This is the Blur Exterminator. See how much better that looks? Stars are kind of bloated, but here they're a little bit tighter. So, and you can see more of that fine detail coming out, like right here in this area versus right here. See, the Blur Exterminator looks much better. See how you got like halos around your stars? Stars tighten up here. And when I say you can see that deep, you get more detail coming out as far as that's kind of blurry. Like, see, so hopefully y'all can see that difference there. So, all right, what we're gonna do now is while we're still in the linear phase, we still hadn't stretched it yet. We're gonna hit it with a little bit of what's called noise exterminator. Clean up a little bit of the noise out of the whole picture before we separate the stars from the nebula. So we'll go down to star exterminator. No, noise exterminator. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's go into process all processes and go to noise exterminator. And I would adjust these parameters because I'm gonna run another one. I'm gonna run it again once I separate it and then put it back together. So I don't want to just fully do a full noise exterminator. Not yet. Just to knock a little bit of the noise out of the picture. And the noise is, if y'all can remember, the noise is like all this, like this in here, this greenish looking, black, reddish, all that. That's called noise. So we want to remove that or eliminate all of that. So, once we get our final picture, if you want to blow it up, make it, larger, it'll be much smoother. So let's hit that noise exterminator. And it's pretty quick. So like I said, this pixel site is very, very powerful. It's a great tool. Now, can you see how much smoother that looks versus the other picture? So this is a lot smoother. And like I say, this is not a full noise exterminator. I didn't want to, cook it just yet. So we're going to come back and clean the rest of that up after we separate it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to separate the stars from the nebula, and that'll give us, two picks. We'll have a picture with nothing but the stars, and then there'll be a picture with nothing but the nebula. So we'll hit use star exterminator, and we'll generate our star image with a large overlap because it's stars all over this picture. So you want to make sure it gets all of the stars out. And what this will do, it'll take the stars out without taking out any of the nebulosity in the picture. So, and that way you can adjust the colors of your stars separately from your nebula, and your colors won't be all messed up. So here we go. All right, we're going to do away with this one for now. All right, this here is just the stars only. And here we have the nebula. Boy, that's dope. That is beautiful right there. Oh man, that nebula is nice. That's good juju, bad juju, y'all. The Heart Nebula. So let's stretch our stars, get those fixed up. So I go back into my SETI Astro and hit do the star stretch. And I'm gonna put up a preview so we can see what we're doing as we do it. Try to expand that a little bit. All right, we're gonna knock out that green, boost that dark color, and we're gonna see what if we increase the stretch factor, see what that preview come out, what it'll look like. That's pretty nice there. I like that. We got our reds, got some blues. Yeah, I think I'm gonna rock with that. What y'all think? Yeah, we're gonna rock with that right there. So let's execute that. Okay, we got our stars ready to go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Now what I can do is, you can do other things. We can like further enhance the color. So if we wanted to do that, we would go in the stars and go into process our processes and go into curves transformation. And what this does is it adjusts, you can adjust the colors, the background, um, all kind of things with your colors. So if we wanted to make this darker and eliminate some of those stars, we would go down this line. Now, the lower you on this line, the dark, the background will be. So it's the further you go up will be like the foreground. So we want to knock down the background a little bit. So if we wanted to do that, we just take this line and move it down some. And that would knock out a lot of those stars. I like that. That's cool right there. I don't want to take out too many. I do want to brighten them up some. So you can see how they're brightening up as I move that line up and I pull it down. You see how it darkens out. So you really want to kind of be careful when you're doing this. You don't want to add too much color. It'll make it look kind of crazy when you put it back together. So I like that right there. We'll leave that right there. Okay, we'll come out of the curves for the stars. Stars are set. I don't have to do anything else to my stars except add them back to the nebula. Okay, now we'll work on the nebula. Let's minimize that because this is the star of the show. Now I could use this standing alone. This is nice. Yeah, we got to clean up some of that noise, which we will do. But look at all that dust that you have mixed with the nebulosity. This is nice. That dust line and that little part there kind of looks like a fish. But you can clearly see this looks just like a heart to me. So yeah, that's nice. All right, let's work on this a little bit. Let's stretch it first. So we'll go back into SETI Astro, statistical stretch. Let's pull up a preview. Now with this one, you don't really too much want to adjust the colors a whole lot. As far as in this stage, which you can. So like if we turn this curves boost. If we push that up, you'll be able to see how the colors will actually brighten up when we hit that refresh. So it's, you see how it kind of brightened up your reds a lot more. Let me tone it down a little bit so you can actually see a difference. So I kind of dimmed a little bit. And then if you turn it all the way up, then it might get a little funky. So it's really, really bright now. So that's what that slider does, that curves. So that's kind of, that looks nice. It ain't too bad. It's not too bad at all. But it's kind of bright for me. So I don't really want it to be that bright. Because then the stars will just, it'll drown out the stars if it's too bright. I do kind of want those stars to be in there. So yeah, so we dimmed it up a little bit. So I go right there. The target median, that's gonna make it, the background darker or lighter. And that's actually, when you do that, if you take it down too low, you'll start losing a lot of your faint gases and stuff. You'll start losing that. So you don't want to be too low, but you don't want to be too high either, because now it gets kind of ugly. See how it's too light? So the target, what this slider here does, is going to help you on your background. And like I say, it's a fine line between having it dark without losing a lot of your faint nebulosity. Like a lot of this stuff here around the edges, the faint nebulosity, you really want to try to keep that if at all possible. So yeah, we'll go with that right there. I like that. So I still got a lot of my faint nebulosity. See all that around, but it's still dark in the background. You can still get those dark patches in the background. So yeah, man, that is pretty. So we'll hit execute, we'll stretch it, and then we'll come back and put the two pictures back together. To make one picture. So let's go into scripts. Then I go into my toolbox and combine images. Now, see, yeah. Well, that's beautiful. I hope y'all liked it, because I really like this one. This is, once again, IC 1805, aka Good Juju, Bad Juju, for the Space Age Africans Astronomy Club catalog. So I don't need that stars picture anymore. Gonna get rid of both of these. Now, here's a stretched picture. This is what what we're striving for. Now what I'm gonna do is run another blur exterminator on it, just to clean it up. We'll clean it up, come back and run a full noise exterminator on it. I don't really need to. You can go into curves, transformation, and adjust, colors if you like. Let's check that out. Let's just play around with it for a few minutes. So we're going to processes, all processes, curves, transformation. Let's pull up our preview so we can see. The preview allows you to see the adjustments you make without, you know, affecting your final picture. So if we wanted to darken it up some a little bit, like I said, we would, the lower you get on this histogram, the more back, you know, the further you'll get into the background. And as you can see, as I adjust this, the background darkens as I pull it down, and it lightens up, you know, as you go up. So you can see a lot of the detail, but if you pull it down too low, you'll lose a lot of stuff. So, you know, you just play with it. This is more or less the art to the science. You know what I'm saying? This is science. This is where, you know, you can use this to study stars, to get an understanding of nebula and the dust lanes, the dark, you know, you can use this picture for that purpose. What we're doing now is we're doing artwork where actually you can make this any color you want in this program. There's what they call palettes. So I could go into another section and change the palette and assign colors or names to these colors. Like, okay, what's red? I can put it on a blue channel and it'll turn all of this blue, you know, and I can, this green in here, I can assign it to orange and it'll change all of that to orange. You know, those are things that you can do, but you know, I like more or less the natural look. So this is the way it comes out of, you know, on the camera. So I don't want to really, you know, do too much to adjust those colors. I like it like that. But you know, it's whatever your heart desires in this part, because the stars are there, the nebulosity is there, and I can brighten it up. See, now as I move up the histogram line, I have my dark point here. So this is how dark I want my background. The further you go up, the more you get to adjusting your subject or the object or the nebulosity or whatever you know you want to refer to it. You'll hear it called all kind of things. So when I want to make that a little brighter, see how it's brightening up as I go up. But that's kind of extreme for me. But I like this right here. I think that's pretty good right there. So we can rock with that. Now, if I wanted to go on that same line and make it a little bit darker, all I have to do is just leave it as it is and just continue to hit this button. And it'll keep getting darker and darker and darker, but we don't want to do that. And you know, if you get to a point to where you don't like it, just hit that back button and it'll go back to the last, you know, command you gave it. So I'm gonna keep that. So that's pretty dope. So here we have our final picture. Well, it's not final yet. I got to do the one more noise exterminator, but you can see this detail. This is really nice when you get down in there. So we'll do noise exterminator one more time, and then that'll be it. That'll be it. We have there we go. So I go readjust these parameters and give it a full noise, you know, to clean up all the noise, and we'll see what we come out with. And I think it'll be nice. And I do appreciate y'all for coming through. I know this. We're getting better at at doing these live streams. That's for sure. But I don't know. I got to see about how we can get a little more excitement going with it. I guess that all depends on me, huh? But yeah, here we go. See how much better that looks, how smooth that is now. When you get in there, see you don't have all that gradient looking greenish, reddish stuff in the background. You can see the faintness around the nebula, how it's like kind of fading into the background. Yeah. This PixInsight is very powerful, y'all. It's a very powerful tool. And with the add-ons, the blur exterminator, the star exterminator, and the noise exterminator. Yeah. Now they have other programs, but this is the one most people like to use. So this is what I really like to do. Just go in as close as I can and look at as much detail as I can. I mean, look at that. That is just awesome. It's a lot of dust that's mixed within that cloud. And there we have it, y'all. Good juju, bad juju. Now I would take that and put it into my Adobe, and that's how I put the pseudo killers emblem on there, a description of the object, which would be it's gonna be good juju, bad juju, of course. But yeah, that's how we do it. That's how it's done. So it's pretty nice. And I ain't gonna keep y'all no longer. This, like I said, it don't take long, but I do appreciate y'all coming through. I really do. And we're gonna continue to do this as long as the night sky allows it, But I really do appreciate y'all coming through. Hey, send it to your people. Let your kids check it out. And just like I said, this is something you can use to actually do some science. We can come back next year and take a picture of this same object and look into these areas like this and see if we've had some supernovas go off or whatever. We can be checking for whatever. This is what you would call a primary source. You know what I'm saying? It's produced right here, pseudo killer official. So yeah, let your people know what's happening with it and put the word out. This is how we rolling over here. This is the Space Age Astronomy Club. This is the pseudo killers. That's what we doing. So I do appreciate y'all. And with that, I will say good night. Have a good one. Peace.